Hello, and welcome to ATP's Because You Asked. I'm Barry Nussbaum. Today's question comes to us from Anastasia, who asks, will Joe Biden and Kamala Harris lead the Democrat ticket in 2024 for re-election? The big picture answer is quite simple, actually, and can be summed up in a single word: performance. And that performance is from the top down, starting at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Joe Biden's approval numbers are getting worse and worse by the day, and everybody knows it, both here in America and around the world. Americans are no longer confident that the president is, quote, on the right track, nor do they believe he and his administration are doing all in their power to put the country first. In other words, an overwhelming, seriously, majority of Americans think the country is not doing well. According to a recent, like this week, CNN's SSRS poll that consisted of more than 1,400 adults, only 21% of Americans believe things are going well for the country under Joe Biden. That's staggeringly low. That comes out to just over 2 out of 10 Americans that think we're okay. And an even smaller percentage, or 18%, are now saying that economic conditions are good. The bottom line is Americans do not approve of Joe Biden's handling of the economy, nor do they believe he's focusing on the hot button issues that are plaguing many American families today, i.e., inflation, skyrocketing gas prices and food prices, the disastrous southern border, and on and on. Biden's policies have crushed the economy, sent oil and gas prices to the moon, have encouraged massive divisions within the country, and we've got an open border on the south. On top of all that, he seems to be falling apart on camera, and he's getting worse and worse every day he appears in front of television. Ronnie Jackson, the White House physician for Presidents Obama and Trump, also serving for many years as an admiral in the Navy, he's now a congressman as well, said this, quote, Joe Biden won't finish his term because his mind is too far gone, unquote. Jackson, who served on the White House medical team in the mid-2000s and then served as personal physician to both Presidents Barack Obama and Donald Trump, made the remarks on Twitter a couple weeks ago. And he went on, quote, Biden won't finish his term. Everyone knows he's unfit for the job. His mind is too far gone. This can't go on any longer. He needs to resign, unquote. Really strong statement from a former White House physician. And here's the proof showing Dr. Jackson is right. Let's watch the video together. It's highlights compiled by the RNC. Take a look, will you?
The best way to get something done, if it holds near and dear to you that you like to be able to, anyway, from Charlotte, another line going from in Florida down to Tampa of Putin's kleptocracy. Yeah. America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to put him. The idea that Los Angeles and what am I doing here? For two reasons. One, we haven't been able to communicate it in a way that is, let me say another way, with the nature, not a solid meeting with they make a very good point. Here's the deal. Here's what drives the driver in the states that are affected. Here's what you can do, the drivers. We want to expand pre-K for 3 and 4-year-olds, millions of free care.
Well, you see it on camera. It's not funny. The news is so bad that even the wildly pro-Democrat New York Times literally hates elected Republicans, and they've come out with written editorials suggesting Biden should not run again. And the news is not better for the other permanent resident of the White House. Like her husband, President Joe Biden, First Lady Jill Biden saw favorability ratings drop in the past year. Get this, by 27 percentage points. According to a new poll just now released, the survey tracked Jill Biden in 2020, 2021, and 2022. She was getting favorable ratings of 46% and 58% and now 34% respectively in those years. With the crisis facing the nation appearing to explain the decline for the president's numbers, Jill Biden's slide is likely to come from her recent gaffes, including comparing, get this, Hispanic voters to, quote, unique breakfast tacos, unquote, in a speech last week in San Antonio. Here's what else she said. Quote, the diversity of this community, as distinct as the bodegas of the Bronx, as beautiful as the blossoms of Miami, and as unique as the breakfast tacos here in San Antonio is your strength, unquote. Jill Biden announced on July 11th at the annual conference of the Hispanic Advocacy Organization, Unidosis, these classic words. She apologized for the remark, but not personally, rather in a tweet from her spokesperson trying to dig her out of this hole. Here's what that lady said. Quote, the First Lady apologizes that her words conveyed anything but pure admiration and love for the Latino community, unquote. The comment, though, has drawn wild backlash from Hispanics and conservatives alike across the country. The comment reveals, quote, a lack of cultural knowledge and sensitivity to the diversity of Latinos in the region, unquote. That from the National Association of Hispanic Journalists. It gets worse. Quote, we are not tacos. That came from Republican National Committee spokesperson Macarena Martinez, and she announced in a statement that the comment from the from the First Lady reduced Hispanics to, quote, stereotypes. And the polling numbers show Dems are similarly not willing to back Vice President Kamala Harris. As of June 28th, last month, 41% of registered voters had a favorable opinion of Harris and 52 had an unfavorable opinion. It's a net rating of minus 11 percentage points, according to a polling average. Harris was assigned, if you remember, one of the administration's most thorny issues when they took office. It was her job to stem the influence of immigrants attempting to cross into the United States along the southern borders. Republicans have sought to make her the face of an issue that they believe could help them in the coming elections politically. After taking on that role, however, Harris's approval ratings began to decline precipitously, with unfavorable opinions surpassing favorable ones in June of 2021 and ever since then. Now, whether the decline is directly related to the immigration debate is uncertain, but what we do know, and we're certain about this, is the more she appears on camera, the worse her polling numbers decline. I've got a lot of examples. In an interview with NBC's Lester Holtz, where Harris bristled at a question from him why she had not even visited the border, it triggered criticism across the country. Comments about immigration and the United States' southern border during visits to Mexico and Guatemala instead of the border have also sparked controversy. Here comes the list. The vice president had made things so much worse with her frequent on-camera comments that literally make zero sense. And they have her audience trying to figure out what in the world she's trying to say. Here's a recent example from an on-camera interview with a very friendly reporter. Check it out with me.
When you look back, did Democrats fail, past Democratic presidents, congressional leaders, to not codify Roe v. Wade over the past 5 decades?
I think that, to be very honest with you, I do believe that we should have rightly believed, but we certainly believe that certain issues are just settled. Certain issues are just settled.
Clearly, we're not.
No, that's right. And that's why I do believe that we are living, sadly, in real unsettled times.
Wow. Let me give you some more quoted examples. These are word for word what she said on camera. Here we go. Quote, for Jamaica, one of the issues has been presented as an issue that is economic in the way its impact has been in the pandemic. We will assist Jamaica in COVID recovery by assisting in terms of the recovery efforts in Jamaica that have been essential, unquote. She told the reporters after the meeting those words. What did she say exactly? I don't know. Harris, whose communication team has been bailing out of her office in droves, her 11th top aide announced last week that he quit, had much the same head-scratching mishmash of garbled words with a bizarre speech in Louisiana recently. Here we go. Quote, we were all doing a tour of the library here and talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? Unquote. Harris said that while promoting internet access in the rural areas and went on, the significance of the passage of time. So, when you think about it, there is a great significance to the passage of time. There is such great significance to the passage of time when you think of a day in the life of our children, unquote. So, Miss Vice President, you're saying there's a passage of time? Did I get that right? And it's not just word salads. Harris is prone to drop into baby talk when asked a question, as she did on a radio show called The Morning Hustle. It was last month. She was asked to put the war in Ukraine in layman's terms, so you and me might understand. And here was her answer. Quote, Ukraine is a country in Europe. It exists next to another country in Europe called Russia. Russia is a bigger country. Russia is a powerful country. Russia decided to invade a smaller country called Ukraine. So basically, that's wrong, unquote. Wow. That sounds like you're talking to kindergartners. And who can forget this great answer? Quote, it is time for us to do what we have been doing, and that is time every day. Every day is time for us to agree, unquote. Or how about this one? We must together work together to see where we are headed, where we are going, and our vision for where we should be. But also see it as a moment, yes, to together address the challenges, unquote. Well, I don't even know what that means. Here's another one. When the vice president was asked about a plan to cut off oil imports from Russia, here's more brilliance. Quote, as you know, on this example, we applaud Germany in terms of what it has done as it relates to Nord Stream 2, as it relates to what we need to do domestically, as well as what we need to do in terms of this issue. Generally, we have, as the president said, to reevaluate what we're doing in terms of strategic oil reserves here in the United States to make sure that it will not have an impact, or we can mitigate the impact on the American consumer. I can only guess what that means, and I don't really have any idea. And probably her staff that is quitting at an all-time record rate doesn't want to go down with the ship and certainly has no idea what she says. And she has a speechwriter. Now you have an idea why I don't see either the president or the vice president able to get support from within their own Democrat Party to be at the top of the ticket in 2024. My opinion is shared by virtually 100% of Republicans and many Democrat strategists and voters in states from coast to coast, according to polling. They don't want the same ticket to run again. My prediction, neither Kamala or Joe will be on the final presidential ticket in 2024. Thanks, Anastasia, for this excellent question. What do you think about my prediction for the 2024 Democrat ticket? Please drop us a note and let us know at our website, americantruthproject.org, or just go to findberry.com. It will take you there immediately. All you got to do is push click. Thanks, ATP followers, for this great question. We encourage your questions to us all the time at ATP. The top questions get answered on a regular basis. We are happy to answer your questions and any inquiries simply because you asked. I'm very useful.